Hello. Um, all right. So I want to present to you one of the some of the where selection dark horse lineup that five-player lineup that can win you some money. And this is not very popular choice, but in rare occasion that um, this lineup will win, then you will get a lot of money. You will win a lot of money back home because not many people choose this lineup. So in in this slide, you can see that I choose Russell Westbrook as MVP, James Harden as the star player, LeBron James as the pro, and the order is very important. These three players you have to fix it as it is. Westbrook MVP, Harden star, and James as the pro. And you have PJ Tucker and Calvin Pope. But these two players you can change to wherever you want because they are not very important and they are depends on a lot on your luck and also on the game itself because you can't really predict this how these role players will how many points these role players will score in the game. But the important point is you have to pick these three players in this first three slots and also in this particular order. In this particular order, that will mean that Russell Westbrook will have a higher fantasy point than James Harden, who will then have a higher fantasy points than LeBron James. Now, this is not this does not happen or even never happen in any game in any Houston versus Lakers game, as far as I remember. But I have a bold prediction that probably it will happen tonight. Um, what is the scenario that it will happen? Right now, I predict that. So let me give you the prediction of tonight's game, Game Five. Is that Game Five? Um, yeah, Game Five, Lakers versus Houston Rockets, playoff, Game Five, 2020. Today is September 12th. All right. So this is my score prediction. Houston Rockets will blow out the Lakers in around 3.5 quarters, or even in 3 quarters. And and the end score is 120 versus 99. Now, of course, the score prediction at pointless, but I just input some of the numbers that I gathered together from some of the statistics of Lakers versus Houston game, and of course the variance can be like 5% to 10%. But the score itself doesn't matter. The important one is Houston will blow out Lakers in 3 to 3.5 quarters. Now, in the first quarters, I predict that Houston Rocket will come out very strong. That means the two players, Russell Westbrook and James Harden, they will be very, very energetic. They will attack the rim as much as they can and score, and then shoot 3 pointers as many as they can. And Russell Westbrook in particular will attack the rim in the in their angriest form possible because I saw in his latest interview that Russell Westbrook is very angry and he is not very satisfied with the situation they are in now. They are in the brim. That they are going to get eliminated, and I don't think that Russell Westbrook will go down in this way, and he will do everything he can to survive, and he will be very angry tonight. That's why that is one of the reasons why I picked Russell Westbrook as the MVP, and particularly in the first quarter, he will score a lot and he will assist others a lot. Some of the role players like PJ Tucker and Gordon and Jeff Green will also score a lot because of the assist that Russell Westbrook will give. And James Harden will also give a lot of assists. Not a lot, but he will score a lot of 3-pointers. And some of them are coming from the assists that Russell Westbrook will give to him. But on the other hand, Lakers will have a lower scores in the first quarters, particularly where Anthony Davis will not score a lot, and he will actually puts down a lot of breaks, and also he will have a lot of turnovers. And so I predict that Anthony Davis will have a decent night, 28 points, but on a lot of shot attempts, and he will have a lot of turnovers as well. And in the first quarters, he will have a low light. He will be very down, and on the other hand, LeBron James will also not score a lot of points, 20 points for the whole game in the first quarters. Anthony Davis and LeBron James will not perform very well. So on the first quarters only, Lakers are down 12 points already, and in the second quarters, LeBron James and Anthony Davis still do not score a lot, and still put down a lot of breaks and also a lot of turnovers, and only 21 points of the whole Lakers team. But I predict that some of the role players like KCP and Michael Morris and whatever will score some of maybe 15 points or so in the second quarters to support the Lakers, but not a lot. Yeah, and also Rondo will also assist, but Rondo will also have a down night tonight. But anyway, Houston Rockets will also score a lot in the second quarters, about 30 points, and a lot of those comes from Westbrook and Harden, and PJ Tucker and some of their Covington and the like. And so already in the first two quarters, Westbrook, James Harden will have a high fantasy points already. And in the third quarters, around so Lakers will probably come back a little bit more to score 30s, but Houston Rockets will also continue to score, but not as much as they did in the first two quarters. So it's pretty even in the third quarter, but already in the coming to the fourth quarter, they have already pretty much brought out the Lakers, and maybe Lakers will give up, and into maybe 2 minutes into the fourth quarters, and they will have put out Dwight Howard and the like, and to score around 25 points. But still, Houston Rockets, because they are very angry, they still put players like Westbrook and James Harden into the game in the maybe in a lot in 50% of the fourth quarters, and they will still put up a lot of fantasy points because they want to ensure a win and be safe. So at the end, it will be around. Houston Rockets will blow out the Lakers pretty much for 20 points. So let's look at the top four players in the game. So the top four players will be Westbrook, James Harden, LeBron James, and Anthony Davis in these orders. And Westbrook will have a fantasy points of the highest fantasy points 65, and James Harden will have the fantasy points 61. LeBron will have the fantasy point 60. So these three guys already 65, 61, 60. So pretty much if you select in this order, because Russell Westbrook higher than James Harden and higher than LeBron James, and all of these three players score over the 60s, pretty much you will win in every tournament or every game in FanDuel. And because Anthony Davis, although he has 50 points, but he is pretty low relative to these three players. So whoever pick Anthony Davis will automatically lose in any tournament, and you will win. And because not many people also select in this order, if you win big, and you you will have a lot of money. But so these three players is very important. So for assists, for points, James Harden will have the highest points, but Russell Westbrook not bad, 30 points, but he will give a lot of assists, and he also have decent rebounds for both James Harden and Westbrook, and still Westbrook will be very energetic and will steal a lot of balls, and also for James Harden still also, but James Harden will probably be better at blocks because Russell Westbrook will focus more on assists and rebounds and steals. LeBron will have a triple double as usual, but he will have a lower points. He will suffer in the scoring end, but he will give a lot of assists and also rebounds, and two steals and two blocks. Anthony Davis not bad, 28 points, but as I said before, on many shot attempts, but assist rebounds not as good as LeBron James, and relatively Anthony Davis will have a low, will be worse than these three. Okay, so this is the scenario where this side will win you big, and the point is Houston has to blow out the Lakers, and Westbrook and James Harden will have to have a high usage. LeBron James triple double, and Davis will score, but but will have a lot of turnovers and not when some of the usage will transfer to LeBron James because he will go for a triple double. All right, that's it. I hope that if you use this slide will and win some money. So this is a low probability events, but probably you will use this, and just in case that my prediction is correct, then you will win a lot of money, right? Thank you very much. Bye.